whenever you're on, like, your video with that thing behind you there, sometimes you're perfectly centered with it. And if you do AI, it makes it look like you have like this crazy hair coming out. It's really
good. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that it, gives me a little bit of hair.
Like this clock.
But I got.
Like what?
What? That's a clock, ain't it?
Oh, a clock.
Oh.
You said clock.
That's not what I heard.
Hey. All right.
I got like 900 windows open here.
Oh, man.
Well, we've got joining us right now. Well, first of all, he's the star of the OC Nation's own Matt Madness with Morgan and Mozart. Probably should be Mozart and Morgan if we're being fair.
It's alphabetical, Brady. It's alphabetical.
You can hear their show. It lasts anywhere from 2.5 to 7 hours every Wednesday.
That's what we do.
Amazing time. But it is very good. Very, very, very good. Can't miss appointment. And he's also challenging for the ECWA Legends title, the final match in the tournament, a three-way. We have Sean Royal, Aiden Chambers, and the man joining us right now, Mozart Fontaine. What's going on, Mozart? How you doing?
What's up, Brady? I'm losing a battle right now to my water bottle. I can't get the lid off. So if I can't beat this water bottle, I don't know how good I'm going to do against those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in your defense, you shouldn't even be wrestling for the Legends title. You should already have it. Exactly. The decision was made, and apparently ECWA, Cheyenne Ortega doesn't stick to his decisions and changes the rules whenever he feels like it.
It's Cayenne Ortiz.
Cayenne. Oh,
yeah.
If you were the referee, I always thought the referee's decision was final. Apparently, that's not the case.
Yeah, that maniac. He's on a power trip. I don't know what else to say.
He's drunk with power, is what he is.
There's never a dull moment on an ECWA show, but I feel like my favorite moment of the show was when he told me that we were the same size because we both had a referee shirt on. I was like, are we though?
Are we really?
Yeah, Howard's always got my back. I thought you did too, Brady, but apparently you gave me the Bob Barker microphone, and you were gonna,
yeah.
I was all set to do commentary with you, man, and
that was all Will's idea.
Yeah, it's always Will's fault,
He was Maestro. It's funny. He was going to do commentary with us when we set up the microphone. I forgot. I think he was making fun of it because he didn't have a stand or didn't have a headset or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's like, "What are we doing here? This is rinky dink." So when we left, we switched it out for a Bob Barker microphone. But he ended up not really using it.
Bro, I had to hold the base of the microphone was like at my knees, so that the actual mic was under my.
Yeah, it was very long.
I need you, Stro. I need you out of retirement and in my corner because these fools are up there trying to rib me nonstop, taking away my ability to not only win the ECWA Legends title, but to sit and do commentary with two guys I respect. I mean, they were on me, man.
Couple clowns. No, but you know what? I'm really excited for this match. I am because it's been so long since I've seen the three of you in the ring together. It must be exciting for you. I mean, to think that like ECWA's come full circle now, where the three you guys are the legends, you guys are the veterans, and you guys are going to have a title all your own.
So it's kind of twofold for me because I'm so excited to be part of it. And when Ryan Kavanaugh reached out about the concept of the division and some of the guys he was thinking about, contacting, and those two guys, their name came up, and I was like, oh man, I was so excited. On the other hand, and I say this with all sincerity, a legend. I mean, for marketing purposes, I think that's awesome, but I would never consider myself a legend. Like I'm still learning. I learn from Stro every week. I learn from Howard. I sometimes I learn from you, Brady. So it's like,
wow.
I'm excited I'm just kidding with you.
course.
I think you're learning from me and Brady. There's a problem.
Well, there's a whole
what about Rat Boy?
I love Rat Boy. I
learned a lot from him.
If you let Rat Boy, because he's such a fan and he's been around, but I try not to wind him up like you do. I just let him talk, and he's really good with us. So, but seriously,
I try to fluster him, and he loves it.
Oh, he gets fired up, man. He's easy to get fired up, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm on a show almost weekly, with Stro, and here's a guy who's done everything at the highest levels, and I've done a couple TV shots and had some really cool stuff. And I'm not downplaying, I guess, what I've done, but man, Legend is strong. I love it. I love being in that category, and I can look at Royal and I can look at Chambers, and you guys, Howard and Brady, saw them a few weeks ago wrestle. They both wrestle like they're still 20 some years old. They both look like they are. And that's truly legitimate. That's not me just being like nice or anything. Like Sean Royal doesn't age. He never has. He looks exactly like he did 20 years ago. Chambers is barely aged, just a hair. And they moved well. They wrestled well. I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I got to up my game again because they wrestle on a different level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, sorry, were you going to say something, Howard? No.
No. I'll move my camera over a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's interesting because like I said, or like you said, like it's like they haven't missed a beat over the years. Aiden Chambers, in a lot of ways, almost looked younger than he did before. Like he was kind of like that fresh meat kind of person before, and now like you look at him and he just looks like a dude you'd not want to mess with in an alley.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can only assume that you're going to be prepared. Is it difficult to I don't know how to put it, because like you said, I mean, you're talking about two guys who are still very much at the top of their game. Does that require a different kind of approach than what you would normally do?
Yes,
that
so
probably doesn't make sense.
It does. It makes a lot of sense because it's a drastically different match than I've had to do since kind of coming back to ECWA. So I had the pleasure of wrestling Clutch Rockwell a few times, and he's a really good hand. Like there's not much he can't do, but he's more of directly mirrors my style, more ground based. He can do a little bit of aerial stuff. He prefers to stay on the ground, but Chambers and Royal can still do a lot of high flying stuff. A lot of the stuff that was popular in the early 2000s that kind of led into what you see on TV now, the kind of Americanized lucha style and a lot of those type of moves. When I was younger, I was really good at taking those things. So this will be a test for me. I am a much better mat wrestler than I was when I started. But it's a different mindset because I need to be part of an exciting match. Like this is going to be an exciting match. This is going to be kind of like a feeling out.
Sorry. Does somebody else have a computer on in the background with this playing?
I mean, I have a computer on, but it's not playing anything.
We're getting a definite echo. Somebody is. It's distracting. Hello.
Oh, there it goes. That's awesome.
Hello. All right, try it again. Sorry.
There it is. No, it's gonna have to be a more of a fast paced matchup, and it's very drastically different than what I did with Mr. Voila, which was a feeling out process. More of a ground based wrestling style. These guys are going to be flying left and right, and I kind of got to acclimate myself to that.
I mean, you can admit it. It's harder to wrestle those guys than Mr. Voila, right?
What's that? I'm sorry, the echo got me.
Yeah, I know the echo's bad.
And I was muted for the record, so it ain't my end. It ain't my end.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, God, I feel like I'm back on Spreaker after all these years. Okay. So is it, I mean, it sounded to me like you were alluding to, and I would wholeheartedly endorse this. Is it easier to wrestle is it easier to wrestle Mr. Ulala than those two guys?
Yeah,
Or
I
just
think physically it's easier because Mr. Ulala's style is more of a
come to me.
Less is more, telling the story.
Yeah.
And while Chambers and Royal can both tell a compelling story with their moves in the ring, they're more athletic, and also, again, they're wrestling like they're 20 years old still. Like, I met these guys. When I met them, they were literally both just kids. You know, I mean, I don't know if they were maybe in their early 20s, and I don't see a change in their athleticism, their conditioning. They're wiser. They'll tell a more compelling story. They'll wrestle a smarter matchup. But the three of us get together, and we have so many. There's so many things that we're on the same page on in terms of. I've wrestled them. I joke about it a lot, but I've wrestled them both a lot. Over the years, so I'm really familiar with their style, and it's cool because getting to referee the matchup was a surprise, a last minute surprise, to be honest with you. Like, music playing last minute, hey, here's a shirt surprise. That's why I stopped over to the table and let you guys know, hey, I'm literally refereeing. I'm not just wearing this shirt for silliness.
Right.
So to be able to get in and referee that match, I think was invaluable to me because I mean, it was going to be cool to be able to sit out there and watch them anyway, right? Because I was looking so forward to calling the match, breaking down their style. But there's nothing like being the third man in the ring and watching them. Seeing how quick they're recovering from moves, and what's really doing the damage to them versus what's not.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you again, they both came in incredible shape. I'm psyched about it. Like, if I'm honest, there's a little bit of nerves about it because I'm probably about 10 years older than those guys on average, and maybe even a little more. But again, I've wrestled them so many times, and our styles match so much. I feel like it's going to be a really exciting match, but I definitely need to be on my P's and Q's. I got to grab the quick tan because I'm definitely not tan, and that's my biggest worry.
No, the question is the hair going to be down your shoulders by November 8th?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no. Once those those dastardly Logan brothers and Chase Del Monte won the match where I cut my hair off, I said, nah, I'm going to leave it off. It's Chambers. I actually had this conversation with Chambers because when I met him, his hair was very short, and now he wears his hair long. There are and Stro, you definitely know this. When your hair is long, that's another opponent in the ring.
Pretty much,
right? How many times were you like, you're standing on my hair, you can't lift me? I mean, that was like an every match thing for me. So I don't miss it.
Now, have you given any thought to the division potentially expanding? I mean, maybe more ECWA quote unquote legends are going to come in. I'd assume it's not going to be just a division of three.
No, I don't. I have thought about it. I don't know who. One of the guys that I had pitched, and hopefully I can remain a part of this division, is Vince Goodnight, because I wanted to wrestle him when we did the reunion show last year. I remember working with Ryan, and who hey, I said I really would like to have a match. It's kind of my hometown, and I still feel like I can go, put on a pretty decent match. And I really wanted it to be Clutch Rockwell, which it ended up being. But in the event that it can, I threw a couple of guys out. There was Chambers, and I said to Ryan, I was like, there's going to be 20, 25 guys in this building that I can have a good match with because I know them.
Right.
Been in the ring with them, and Vince was one of the guys that I had thought of. I can't think of anybody right off the top of my head because there's so many guys that like I was walking around like, oh my god, like you still look like you're in great shape, like
A lot of them did.
But yeah, I'm thinking it's. I don't know what the the plan for it is, or how often there'd be a quote unquote legends match. And like I said, I love the name of the division because I look at the other guys, I look at my peers, like to me they are independent wrestling legends. They're as ingrained in independent wrestling in the Northeast as the national guys are on TV. But for me to be part of that still kind of like feels weird, I still feel like young. I still feel like I got a lot to do. But at the same time, and I think we probably had this conversation. I know Howard and I have offline, but I think Brady, we probably did too. That I've kind of done everything I wanted to do. If it were over, I'm just excited that the legacy carries on. That Ryan is at the helm of ECWA, his crew, Vin and King Reggie and the JD, all the guys that are there working ring crew. That he has a solid crew, and this is an organization that can go on as long as they want it to. I mean, they have a fan base. But you look back to August of 1967, Jim Kettner started this thing. Mark Tartaglia picked up the baton and ran with it for a few years, and now Ryan has it. This is a promotion that hasn't been officially dormant in its existence. It's not gone away.
Yeah.
It runs in more seasonal than maybe some independent promotions do. Maybe a few shows a year, but that's by design and to keep a crowd interested, But man, to be a part of that legacy, I'm so excited to be part of the match and be. I say it tongue in cheek and laugh, not to take away from the seriousness of it or what the championship represents. The belt is gorgeous. It's top notch. It looks like a championship that someone would want to hold, and I definitely would be honored to hold it. But it's weird to say.
Yeah,
I'm a legend. I did a little project the other night that I'll be able to fill you guys in on when I get some more information. But did a little project with the chick magnets, and we
cool.
did a piece together. And it's the first time I've been on the phone with Sosha and Tobin together in a couple of years. We've talked offline, phone calls, one to the other, never three together. And we used to make it a point all the time of getting together once or twice a month and just talking in a three-way conversation on the phone. But to kind of reunite with those guys and to tell our story, you start to realize, I started to realize what a body of work that I had and the amount of guys that I got to work with. It just feels surreal, man. It still feels like I'm just like this kid, like. Brady, I mean, you were coming on the scene when Queen Brandy was Queen of PWI, and she was giving us coverage. And I asked her not that long ago, because I'm still pretty close with her. I said, what made you cover three kids from Delaware? Talking about me and Sosha and Tobin. And Sosha's, of course, from Philly, and Tobin from the Bronx, very proudly. But we were cutting our teeth in Delaware as the chick magnets. And she's like, you guys were, you were talented. And this is a person, as you know, who had been at around the top names in the wrestling business. And I was floored. I was like, are we? Or are we just doing what we like to do? I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I take pride in the art. And that's why I think there's something to prove with this match. Because, again, these two guys can wrestle. And I want to kind of prove to myself that I still can do that,
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that you guys all got it. Sure. And it hasn't been that long since you guys were all in your prime. So I definitely know you can do it. How would you compare? You were talking about Ryan and the current ECWA. How does that compare to like the Jim Kettner era? Because I was only around the Jim Kettner era there for a couple of years, but how was
Yeah. So there's a lot of similarities. So Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
I joke with him, he's kind of like a younger version of Jim, a more tech savvy version, where Jim was a pencil to paper guy and a hang flyers
Right.
type of guy. They definitely have differences in booking philosophy in terms of like ice cream, the flavor, vanilla. You know, if one likes vanilla, one might like chocolate. But there's a lot of mutual respect between the two of those two individuals, and I think Ryan will tell you he learns a lot from Jim, and probably even Jim, vice versa, might say the same thing. But I think what's really cool about the differences are that Ryan, um, and maybe it's just because I'm much more experienced now. Ryan will just either give me a call or I'll show up at the show, and he'll be like, "Oh, go check out the lineup sheet, like you know what you're doing," and kind of leave it up to us based on a very loose direction, whereas Jim would map something out for what he might call a season, 8 or 10 shows that were
Yeah.
planned for that particular year, and give you the high level overview, and then say, um, he might not know every single match you're going to do, but he's got a clear direction on at the end of the season where is Mozart going to be as a spot on the show, and where is he going to be as a persona. So where are the chick magnets going to be? Where is Freak Nasty, Cheetah Master Boogie, whoever it was at the time? He had a clear direction, and not that he couldn't shift if the crowd, because we had a lot of spontaneous moments where
Sure.
he just ran with stuff, wow, like magic. But his vision, I'll still tell you, in my opinion today, and I think Jim's 5 years ahead of the wrestling industry, even right this second. He can predict trends and has an eye for talent like very few others. So he always could look at one of us and say, "I got it. I know exactly what we're going to do with you." Well, what are we going to do? I'll tell you. Ryan
Yeah.
is more of, I have a plan, but I'm not going to tell you about it yet. And we're going to be very loose, and we're going to be very, very, very loose in the way that we could change direction at the last minute, which is not
Yeah.
a bad thing. It's just a difference in style. But I remember the first conversation that I ever had with Ryan when Jim had called me and told me that Ryan wanted to do the documentary and wanted to get some guys together to interview for the history of ECWA. But yeah, man, he's great. Very different than Jim, but at the same time, almost like a young Jim, if that makes any sense.
He one of the things I love about Ryan is he appreciates the history.
Yeah.
Like he embraces it. The old owner, I wouldn't say that he embraced the history, but Ryan definitely it's like he always wants to learn about what happened, how it happened.
Yeah.
The circumstances around it, the way the crowd, it's just the whole thing. And then pairing that with being so tech savvy, it's like ECWA from the past stands to gain more exposure maybe than it ever has, at least since their television days. And I
Yeah,
think that's pretty cool.
that is a cool point, and I think that's where when I speak of the difference,
Yeah.
he's definitely um, you know on board with the streaming platforms and how to market, but it's not just marketing his current product. I think his I think, because I don't know that I've ever had this conversation with him, but I think by embracing the past so much, he understands that it's going to propel him into the future as well. Uh,
Yeah.
because I've seen that crowd grow even in the last couple of years I've been involved with him, and he's been running the Jersey Dugout. Um, it's neat how he can just build his personas, and he, again, clearly defining what somebody's persona is, what their spot on the show is, where they're going to be. Um, I think just the major difference is he's much less hands on
Okay.
with the actual creative. Whereas, but I don't want it to seem like Jim was overly hands-on, because once he trusted you, he wasn't. But you would get a nice back in those days, the tech was email, right? It was coming in, and the internet was busting out at the time. But he would send a nice email about maybe a paragraph long, just kind of explaining what you're doing, why we're doing
Sure.
it. And that is one of Jim's strengths. One of his many is he can tell you exactly why you're doing it and when you're doing it. Whereas Ryan knows what he wants, but he'd rather leave it to the talent to figure out how to get there. But again, he's
Okay.
got a lot of experience where Jim was building a very local based promotion with sometimes with kids. And I remember even as new as I was, working through matches with people who'd never had one before. And we'd put them in front of a crowd and they'd look like they'd had 3 or 4 or 5, 10 matches before they ever got
Wow.
to one. So there
That's
was a
pretty cool.
different mastery. It was a different way of doing business where he had to be a little bit more hands-on. And I really liked it wasn't overly booked. I'd worked for promoters where I joked with one promoter that we worked with, me and the pool boy, we'd get there and I'd be like, "Did you get your pamphlet yet?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got it. I'm still reading halfway through it." It wasn't like that. We would
Right.
just get a quick email from Jim. Okay, you're wrestling the, Japanese pool boy, this is gonna, here's what I want out of the match. Whereas Ryan might not even tell you what he wants out of the match. I might have to be like, "So we're on this card. What do I want?" He's so great, but
Yeah.
that's the difference to me, and that's something that kind of rattles some of the real young, more green guys, if you will. They're like,
Yeah.
"Well, here's what I'm supposed to be doing." And I was like, "Well, did he tell you directly what he wants for the finish?" "Well, no." "Okay, well then you're cool. Just go make sure you're not duplicated and go ask him if it's all right."
Yeah.
It's a really, maybe you might even say a little bit of an old school type of approach where it's like you're just expected to know what to do.
And this is coming from the commentator perspective, but I love working for somebody like that because, first of all, we don't have to have the show spoiled for us. We can enjoy it and we can react to it as we like. We can get the spoilers if we want them. I choose not to generally. But what I think is really cool about it is he's not scripting. If there's like a core concept that he wants us to like convey during a match, like that's one thing. But he allows us to find that in our own way, using our own voices. And I think it's an incredible thing. And I think it makes it more authentic, honestly, in the ring and outside the ring. Now, one of the listeners wants to know, I think this is a pretty cool question. So if you could take anybody from the current ECWA roster and pluck them back in the Jim Kettner era, who would fit in the best? And then conversely, if all things were the same, if anything could happen, who from classic ECWA would just take off like gangbusters in the current company?
So I got a couple of names to start with to move back. One, obviously, Clutch Rockwell. He was really, really young when Jim was running, and he did do a few things, but he hadn't come into his own yet. I think King Reggie would have been a tremendous persona for the old Jim's ECWA. And maybe even LA Vin, because he's got that classic kind of white bread hero persona. And that was really, really popular in the old ECWA.
I can't believe you brought up L.A. Vin's name. How dare you?
Well, he's ducking you, so I'm just trying to get him out of the promotion. So
Man.
deal with him,
Still ducking me. Wouldn't even talk to me at the show. Turned his back and walked away from me.
Hey,
Can't believe it.
I got news for you, Howard. He's going to be in a tables match, so maybe you can just slide in there and dump him over too. I don't know.
Maybe you and Ryan could tag team against him.
There you go. Exactly.
Abbott and Costello,
So and it's funny if we're talking about who would fit in to the current promotion, and I, this is a hard question because I'm just trying to narrow it down because anybody from Jim's, era. I mean, the guys that I came up with, like Joe Cheetah, Boogie Woogie Brown would have been huge, the Simon Diamond, Glenn Osborne. Glenn Osborne, I think, would have been a really, really interesting guy to see, in his prime on today's roster because he was scary. And that's something that Ryan, if I'm off the top of my head, doesn't have right now, is that really
Right
scary
now, no.
heel.
Yeah.
And even as a babyface, Glenn was scary. He was intimidating. The closest thing they might have to that now is maybe like LA Vin is, and he's a little bit more pure than Glenn was. Like Glenn could really put the scare on you.
Imagine that battle though, like Glenn and LA Vin.
It would
just
be
two
classic,
powerhouses from just. I mean, Glenn was like, it still is like he's like compact, but it's like, yeah, he's a dude you wouldn't want to mess with for sure.
No, he always was super nice, but
sure.
His persona when he came to the ring, he was all business. I tell you, I'd like to see a Super Jack Freak Nasty in today's wrestling because Nasty was an interesting persona. He was interesting. He was a character like in real life, like he still is.
Will couldn't get over that name. Like he just kept talking about Freak Nasty, and I know. Yeah, but I was like, yeah, but it was cool. Like and the fans loved him.
Oh yeah, that was all him.
Yeah.
He came in with that name. He was, Nasty was funny because he learned the very basics, and he was not the master of a wrist lock or a toe hold or even a headlock, but man, when he got in the ring, it was electric. And I tell you, we being the Chick Magnets had a incredible train wreck, Howard, down the rabbit hole match with Nasty where nothing that we thought we were going to do happened, and he was nowhere that we thought that he was going to be, but it ended up being one of the most fun over matches that I was ever in, and the crowd just came unglued. And of course, he beat us. He didn't have to. He only had to pin one person. He didn't have to pin all three of us. It was a handicap match, and we had so much fun because, again, at the time he was huge. Just, I mean, a freak of nature for real. And
but
we're running into each other. It was a mess.
Yeah. No, but he was like such a great example of like having to do so little, but because they loved him, it almost didn't matter what he did. Like he was just
exactly.
He was great. He was. I could see him for sure.
Yeah, so many guys. And I'm probably missing a bunch of names. The Logan brothers. Oh, man, the Logans and Chase. That's another guy I hope can be part of this Legends division because he's still so active in chaotic wrestling. Is Chase Del Monte. I'd love to wrestle him again. We had some really fun classic stuff. Great baby face. He's a good heel, too. But he was a major baby face. Wow. He was something else. So were the Logan brothers. They were the Chick Magnets biggest feud.
You were amazing.
Chase, So yes, we have Aiden and Royal, those guys. I mean, so many. I think that's what's neat about the Legends division is I think we would all just slide in just really perfectly. Vince Goodnight, great baby face. Oh my God, he's just a classic babyface. You just want to cheer for that. I want to cheer for him when I'm wrestling. But so that's an interesting question. That's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I really like that. Here's another one. The listener wants to know the chances of maybe one day seeing the Chick Magnets reunite in the current ECWA.
I think the chances of an appearance are fairly decent. We officially got into the ECWA Hall of Fame. I was hoping that we could actually do an appearance and accept it together. A wrestling match is definitely off the table. Sosha and Tobin have committed to staying out of the ring. They both had some pretty serious injuries, and I was fortunate to get over the one serious injury I had, which was an ACL tear, a full ACL tear, by the way. Actually, funny story about that, Brady. I actually got to learn how to do commentary. I was with Rob, Sean Credle and Jerry Strauss, who were calling the matches
Okay.
for Jim at the time
Yeah.
for DVD release, going
Wow.
back to the DVD days. And
Love it.
I wanted to stay on the show while I was rehabbing, and Jim said, "Well, I think it'd be a cool thing for you to do to learn how to." And that was really neat thing about Jim too, is if you wanted to learn something or wanted to be a part, he'd find something for you to do. So he said, "Why don't you go and do commentary? You can sit out there and still be part of the show and get to watch the show, and it'd be something different for you to do." So I got to do that, but yeah, I think the chances of the three of us doing something like that are fairly decent. But a match is off the table, and we definitely try to keep it any type of appearances together. Again, we're very close, like in our personal lives, but appearances we try to be really careful. We did a few things for Right Coast Pro when JJ and Lisa Johnson were running Right Coast Pro here in Delaware. We've all been pretty active with Ryan in terms of the history and the documentary. And as you know, Tobin was in my corner last year when I wrestled Rockwell. But and we that was the funny thing is Brady, I don't think we've ever had this conversation, but Howard and I have, and I know Stroh and I touched on it, how real wrestling really is, because everybody's so quick to point out, oh, but it's all of this, and it's way more real than you think. Hence me refereeing a match that I literally had no clue I was refereeing until but that's real. But when you talk about the reality of wrestling, there was a real chance that Tobin was going to get in the ring at the last minute. And he swore he wasn't, and his wife was in the crowd, and she would have just been livid, and rightfully so. She's very nervous about him getting injured again. She'd gone through a couple of serious injuries with him, and it's hard on your family, my fiance at the time, like she was there. She would have been devastated to see him or one of us get injured, but we were literally in the back, and we're walked past the backyarders and like, you're suited up. You getting in the ring? He's like, no. We just said, look, wear your gear because that's what the people want to see. They don't want to see Mike Tobin in his sports jacket. They want to see him in the bow tie and the gear. He had wrestling boots on and everything. So of course everybody was like, oh, you guys are going to get in the ring. And I said, nah, he's not. But I'm standing at the curtain with him, and there was just this look in his eye. And I was like, are you going to do this? I was like, we could turn this into a tag match. These guys are good enough to do that. He goes, I don't know, brother. I don't know. I was like, maybe you better not, because then we'll both be getting our asses kicked by we call her, don't tell her, but we call her the Cuban assassin is Mrs. Tobin.
No.
She's a badass. But she knows that too, by the way. I can say that because she's in West Palm Beach right now, and I'm in, Bear, Delaware, so she can't hit me.
And
right
I can
now,
laugh because I never met her.
Exactly. Yeah. She's a doll. She's amazing. Super supportive. A great friend to me, like family to me. Her family treats me like family. But she it would have just really been distraught. It wouldn't have been fair to do that to her. But that's probably the only thing, in my opinion, that kept him out of the ring that night. That's how real it was. It's literally standing at the curtain, and I was like, "Hey, man, whatever you want to do, I'll back your play. Just don't get hurt." And he's like, nah, I'm good. But so many times like that where things get really real, like real, like, and I don't mean like it turns into a fist fight. I just mean that the situation, the emotion, things happen and it's real. I give a great example. The risk is very real, but you've been around a ton of shows, Brady, and I know Howard has seen this from a different perspective. And when he hears the story of it, I can tell that the respect he has for the reality and how quickly things can change. And I said to Aiden Chambers a few weeks ago, we were talking, and it was good to see him, and we grabbed a bite to eat together, and Royal and everybody was the first time we'd all been together like that in probably over a year. And I said, do you remember the match we had? He was in a tag team called the OC Boys with a dude named Sean Patrick, and we had a real situation where we were teaming with him, and it was going to be a handicap. It was going to be a tag match, and I think they were going to have Ace Darling in their corner, and I think it was like me and Tobin, and Sosha was going to be in our corner just as a second. But Chambers had gotten caught in traffic and legitimately was late to the show. I mean, it was this huge, huge, huge. I'm not just talking about like um, irresponsibility. I mean, it was nothing he could do. I mean, like the
Right.
East Coast was like gridlocked from like Delaware
It
down
happens.
the. It was there was some major accident like that closed the highway down. And any of us on the East Coast, that if you've ever lived near 95, if they close 95 down, everybody's screwed because there's one vein on the East Coast. And he was on his way, and we were just getting to the match time, and Jim said, just go out there and do your thing, just make it a handicap match, we'll be fine. Cool. We went out there and we were doing a handicap match, two of us against Sean Patrick, and next thing we know, we look up and there's Aiden Chambers on the he's in street clothes on the corner, he's reaching out for the tag, and you couldn't have written a better quote unquote script, which I hate that word, because everything looked very authentic. And again, being
Yeah.
trained well, all of us knowing what we were doing, he takes the hot tag, he jumps in, and he just cleans house on everybody. All we're doing is running and feeding him at that point. We're so excited. He could have bumped me 800 times that night. We were just running and feed. We were just, and I don't even remember the finish because honestly, like it doesn't matter. Like I mean, I'm sure they won, but the fact that he showed up there and the real emotion of this, like you just can't explain it because it wasn't supposed to happen. We were like, okay, it was a tag match. Now it's not. He's not able to make it. And he was like, oh, God, man. He was
That's
appalled
cool.
because he was so late. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
man. But from our point of view, like that was perfect storytelling.
Yeah.
Perfect. And Jim
Talk
with the
about making lemonade,
yeah, well, he showed
Yeah.
up, and Jim just was like, "Go out, go, go, go! Don't even change. Get out there. They're already out there." And I don't know how long we were into the match. It seemed like we were way deep into the match because we just were really just laying it on Sean Patrick, and he's, doing his best. Ricky Morton, there you go, Stro. He's just getting the crap beat out of him, and come back, come back, come back. Keep coming back. We're kind of fire us up. And there's Chambers on the thing, and I'm like, oh my God, is this real? Like, this is awesome. Like, how does he? I don't know, Stro. I mean, you could speak to that. The reality of when things go awry, they really don't go awry, do they?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
I mean, it's amazing to be able to bring it back, and it feels good on two levels. Like you're trained well enough to know what to do, but then you're also like, you're like, all right, instinctually I know what to do because I'm not out here faking this, or it's not phony. I'm out here having a wrestling match,
Yeah.
so what
Yeah.
it's predetermined. That goes out the window for me. When you chain wrestle and you change holds, contrary to popular belief, I've never been in a situation where I'm like, okay, now I'm going to reverse the arm wringer on you. Now I mean, you're just chaining, you're just switching moves, doing holds, Yeah, going with the flow. Maybe you're not trying to ruffle feathers, or, you're trying to make it look smooth. But I mean, when I see a good chain wrestling exchange, like, I just know what's going into that. I know the passion that the guys are putting into it, or the women. I know that it's kind of showing the art form off. Hey, this is what we got. Like it does say wrestling on the marquee, and for better or for worse, most of us can do that pretty well.
Yeah. No, that's pretty wild. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right about that. Looking back, is there anything you would have done differently in ECWA?
No. At
Not a thing.
times I would look at matches and be like, oh, that stunk. I would have done this. I would have done that.
Okay.
But overall, no. I think that because I always listened to Jim. Like I never, if I didn't understand, or maybe initially was I don't want to say I never disagreed with him, but if there was ever something I wasn't clear on, which is very, very rare. He's really good at explaining why he wants something done a certain way, or what I don't even want. Let me take that back, because Jim is not that guy. He's very good at explaining the vision, because he won't move forward unless he's got the talent buy-in. And I asked him about that years ago, and he's like, well, if I don't have talent buy-in, whether it's your persona, what I'm asking you to do in the ring, it's going to come off bad. And that's going to translate to my crowd, which is going to translate to my crowd being smaller. So it was a fairly basic formula with him. I mean, he could get complex and peel the onion back as far back as you want him to, but the basic formula is buy-in from the town. So I always bought into everything hook, line, and sinker. Like, I was like, because I was also, all of us had the freedom to kind of converse with Jim, and maybe we'd come to him with an idea and he'd be like, let me think about it. And he may come back and be like, I don't think it's a good idea, but here's what we can do. Like, he never shot anybody down, to my knowledge, without an alternative. And even better than that, he often would say, I think I know what I want to do or how I would book this, but let me hear what you would want to do. And I'm like, dude, you're the guy who created the Super 8, man. You just put, like, you just showed the country AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. Like, why do you want to hear what I want to think? But that's how he still to this day operates. And he said, but what do you think I did with those talents? I asked them the same thing. We conversed. You don't just bring somebody and be like, oh, this is what you're going to do. No, you got to bring them in for what their talent is. And that's the type of thing, like, I learned from him. So to do something different, it's hard to say I would do something different. I mean, I don't think I would. If I could honestly say what I wished would have not happened, is that Sochi and Tobin didn't get hurt, and maybe they'd still be on the ride with me. But here's the thing: is they kind of are, because we keep the legacy of that tag team alive, because it's a brotherhood. It's legitimately, like, to me, like the Freebirds, where, like, you're always going to be, like, brothers with these dudes. And being real friends on the outside of wrestling is, like, we're looking out for the brand, for ECWA as a brand, for the Chick Magnets as a brand, for each guy individually as a brand, for Jim as a brand, for lack of a better word, because we kind of carry his legacy. So I don't want to be a guy who tarnishes that. Like, he's my first and main teacher. He's responsible for me learning under Lance Diamond, then Glenn Osborne, then Mike Hollow, and Dr. Tom, and Walter Kowalski. I mean, I would have never trained under any of those guys if it weren't for Jim. And even Jim himself getting in the ring and saying, there were things that he could still do physically and do really well. So he would get in the ring and show reversals, things like that, and different escapes. Still, one of the funny things about Jim is, if you watch him train somebody, which you don't even know he's doing it until it's already done. It's kind of like being it's kind of like playing a poker game, losing all your money. You don't even know what happened until it's over. But he can look at somebody's positioning, whether it be their feet, their hand, their arm, their body, and correct it, and all of a sudden the sequence of the move looks perfect. It's an ungodly gift, whereas it might take other guys, and I know that there are other people that have similar talents and are very good at basics, but man, to be able to just to be there, and I wouldn't have changed anything. I would have put myself on the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, not the No, I'm only kidding. I'm only joking.
It's that damn Brandy. No, I'm kidding.
No, Brandy, Jesus. What are you gonna? I'm gonna call her when I get done and be
she
like,
didn't even care.
It's like, you know what? It's what I'm saying to you, Brady. Like, where was she when I got my hair cut off? That's why she was there.
Yeah. Great stuff. Howard, I know you had something about ECWA you wanted to say. I think it's going to feed perfectly into my last question. I suspect.
Yeah, no, just, and Mozart, you spoke earlier about, Ryan's staying connected to the roots and to the history, and I think that does the promotion well, when you get new fans, because I mean, I saw my first ECWA show probably 3 years ago, and I thought, well, what kind of small promotion is this? And then I walk in, and you see all the banners of not only previous Super 8 winners, but Hall of Fame, and it's AJ Styles, it's Christopher Daniels, it's Lou Albano, it's George Steele. It's like, wow, all of these guys at some point have come through a small promotion in Delaware, that is now, operating out of Morganville. And what it does is it adds to that legacy and that, legitimacy that this isn't just a one and done promotion. This promotion has staying power. And to your point, if they stick to that formula of staying, true to their roots and close to their roots, this thing will go on indefinitely, under the right ownership. And I think it's a nod to Ryan and, all the way back to Jim to kind of keeping that tradition alive and allowing not only, staying grounded in your roots, but allowing, the organization to grow, and because it grows each and every show. Every show that I go to is bigger than the show I went to before.
Well, that's because they keep wanting to come back and see how many times that Cheyenne Ortiz is going to argue with me over a decision I made,
Oh, God.
tell me what title I'm not going to wear, or tell me that, no, I'm only kidding. No, I think that that's an excellent point, Howard, because to stand in that when I first walked into that little arena and the setup that they had, most of the guys on the walls that I had either met or know. It was kind of surreal to see them up there and be like, these are heroes to a lot of kids and even grown-ups now. But I think I think as long as the guys are having fun, and they seem to be, it's a really, really laid back locker room. It's a laid back atmosphere. There's a camaraderie where everybody will help everybody get better, or they'll pick somebody up if maybe something didn't go as planned. And as long as I think Ryan and the crew are having fun, he's in for the long haul. And I was funny because we were having dinner after the last show, and then Brady, you remember I was sitting next to his little son, and I'm thinking, he had dropped his spoon on the ground, and I picked it up, and I'm like, "Hey, man, you don't want to eat off of this. Let me get you another one." And I was getting ready to say, "Listen, kid, when you're running this promotion, remember this, because
remember what I did for you."
Yeah. Oh, I'm not gonna let him forget. No, I'm gonna remind him. I'm gonna be like, "Listen, dude, remember when I picked your spoon up? Like,
Yeah, you saved him from getting
I
sick.
saved your life, man.
I saved you from some type of bacteria that's probably on the floor of that place. Like, dude,
some sort of flesh-eating New Jersey thing."
Exactly. Well, Jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, so you figured there's definitely something on the floor, right? I'm only joking.
Right.
But
No, I'm not.
I know you're not. But I think that the promotion, seriously, I mean, I think it can go on as long as he wants it to. It's got a really great history. I mean, I worked uniquely for each owner. I definitely like the direction that Ryan's taken it in. It's very family oriented, which is what I was used to. And I think in wrestling, Stro, we've had this conversation. Howard and I talk about this ad nauseum. When you take the family atmosphere out of wrestling, I think, and maybe history would back me up on this, the promotion's doomed to fail at some point. When you go too hardcore, when you go too blood and guts, when you go too risque, when you go too far in the extreme of anything, that's not a recipe for long-term success. I think it's a great short-term success and it can set you apart. But when you're looking for longevity, you have to be able to have the 3 to 4 member family be able to come to the show. The single parent who's bringing a kid and their friend. The kid is the key, because you grab them when they're children and they stay into adulthood. We've seen that with ECWA. I've watched kids grow up, and my little buddy Laura, her mom's a good friend of mine. Come to the show for years. I watched her as a little kid get so angry that my foe was ripping up a poster of my twins. when they were first born, and now my twins are 12. And I took a picture with her last year. She's a beautiful young girl in college now. I mean, when you watch people grow up, or you watch your friends mature through the time they start watching you until now, that's when you know it becomes real that you kind of built something. And that's what Ryan's doing up there. I see families, I see kids, I see parents, I see single parents, I see grandparents, and I see wrestling fans of all ages. Because again, he's bringing a little something for everybody. He's bringing that there's a style of match on the show for just about everybody without getting too over the top with any one style, you know?
No, sure. I think that's the best way to end this interview, because it just encapsulates how so many people feel about the ECWA and what makes it
Brady,
special.
we haven't gone 3 hours yet. You know how
Right.
I'm only joking with you.
I'm a teacher now. I have to get up at 5.
I know, man. I know.
Oh, it stinks, doesn't it?
Oh, I hate it. I hate
I have
those
to get
kids.
up early too.
I'm
Brady,
up at
I have to
5
tell
every
you,
day.
listen, let me plug this, because you know we
Absolutely.
did a show for my good buddy Steve Zapp on I still call it a lariat.
Your good buddy.
My good buddy
You know what?
Steve.
You know what I
Yeah.
used to call him?
What do you call Steve? Don't pick on.
I like Steve. I do. We used to call him the tire flipper. Howard, do you remember we used to have those vignettes? He would lift like the big truck tire.
Yeah, that's right. I
Oh,
forgot about that.
there you go.
That's
Listen,
what Dean and I called him.
you know, I'll plug it, because you know we do a little work for him, but
By all
I still
means.
call it a lariat. Me and Howard are going down the rabbit hole on I still call it a lariat podcast, and I tell you that my coffee story, you got to go on there and listen to it, because I had a fight with the coffee maker this morning that I did not win.
And he lost. He lost, by the way.
I lost.
Yeah.
Listen, I did the job for the cats, for the coffee maker, everything. It was unbelievable. And the whole time I was looking at it like, I'd be pissed if this isn't a classic wrestling story. Like, how does this thing beating me?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Hey, it wouldn't be the coffee maker if you weren't there to help it.
Exactly. Hey, you know, if Jim Kettner would have got a hold of that angle, I'd be wrestling a coffee maker on his show, and I guarantee you he'd be drawing 500 people with that somehow.
Right. Instead of a door, it'd be a coffee maker, you know?
Exactly. It'd be a coffee maker match. I'd have to go out there and make a cup of coffee that some bitch would spew all over me, you know? He'd find a way, I'm telling you. But
so
that's
where and when can people check out I still call it a lariat? I like that.
So we typically we're trying to Howard, speak to this with me. We're trying to do something on a Tuesday or Thursday, because we're working VOC Nation Wednesday nights with Matt Madness. Yep. So we're doing something. Steve uploads pretty quickly. So yeah. I think we're uploaded now, right, Howard?
Yeah, he said it'll be uploaded tonight. If you go to, you know, I still call it a lariat, it's down the wrestling rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I think we have 3 shows recorded now. They're not very long. They're easy to listen to, for the most part. But it's really good. Good entertainment. And we try to do. We don't record live. It's recorded and then downloaded. So
yeah, okay. It's a download. So cool. So what we try to do is do something a little different, where we can talk about a theme there. Like we're trying to get some spotlight on some independent guys over here on VOC, but we're just talking themes over there. You know, like stuff that interests us. Like I you know, the coffee maker, you know, beat the shit out of me this morning. You know, wrestling theme songs is what we were talking about. So it's kind of cool to be able to.
That is cool.
BS about stuff you talk to your buddy about at the restaurant or in the locker room. Yeah. Very cool. We do that on Wednesday nights here though too, but you know, not as much. We try to get the indie talent on.
Well, not for nothing, but my coffee maker went into business for itself today. So he's off future shows.
That's even better.
Yeah, no, I put the stuff in. I walked away, and next thing I know, my wife's saying, "Your coffee's brewing, but the pot's not there." So, It's all coming out. I didn't hit the button. I swear I didn't. Maybe I have Alzheimer's now. I don't know, but I don't think I hit the button.
You have half timers. You're only halfway there.
Yeah, half timers.
Did you fire it, or are you just holding it down?
I was like, I don't even know how the freak. I unplugged it. It kept coming out. My wife's like, "Here, take this out," and like, it stopped. So it's a good booker.
Listen, you could be my tag team partner when we wrestle the coffee machines.
Yeah, I love it.
Like
that sounds like a name. The coffee machines.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, like the giant machine, the coffee machine. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's
stuff.
I'm gonna take credit for it right now. I'm gonna pitch the angle to Ryan. I'm gonna loser leaves town match. We're gonna come back as the coffee machines under masks.
I love it.
Dark brown masks. That'll go over great.
Yeah, exactly. You know. Again, I'll be mild brew. You can be dark brew. You know.
Colombian blend.
Somebody's stealing that. I'm trademarking that right now. If I say TM after it, does that mean it's trademarked?
Yes. TM. Yes.
Yeah. In case Ratboy tries to steal that.
Right.
Oh no. No, I'll put Ratboy in the tightest small package in the history of wrestling. Ask Ulala about that.
Okay.
He still swears I was shooting on him. I was like, La, you just have to be in shape to take a small package, dude. That's all. You know?
Yeah. Meanwhile, his head is through his knees.
Right.
The other side, I'm sure. So,
I told him I was going to roll him up.
Mozart, thank you for the time tonight. Really, you're going to be part of ECWA Night of Unusual Matches, November 8th, the Jersey Dugout, Morganville, New Jersey. Tickets and information, ECWAWrestling.com, and we'll definitely delve more into the card in the coming weeks. But again, thank you for the time. Be sure to check out, I still call it a Lariat. Of course, Matt Madness every Wednesday right here on VOC Nation. And thank you. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for inviting me on, man. This is a cool surprise.
I missed you. I kind of felt like I had to wait a little because Howard had you on all the time, and it was like it just seemed like a good opportunity.
Brady, for the record, I invited him on for one show and he never left. So
that's great, though. Imagine before you.
Let me do what all wrestlers do, and I'll divert the blame. It's Stroh's fault because we were just filling in for him on Thursdays,
right.
And the next thing you know, here we are talking nonsense.
I'll take the heat.
I'll say it. I say how Brady. I tell Stroh every time I'm on with him, but I love you, brother. You've taught me so much, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have filled in and been on the podcast with you because you're awesome, man. Seriously.
Well, we have a lot of fun with it. It's great to have you part of the family.
No, thank you, Brady. I appreciate what you do for us too, because given I feel like ECWA gets a lot of local press, and that is really, really cool. It's good for Ryan. It's good for us. Good for the fans. And man, he deserves it. That dude's awesome. Ryan is, and his crew.
It's the promotion that everybody should know about. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yep,
cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. But
Brady,
again, thank you for the time. Yep. Yeah.
Right,
we'll
sir.
talk to you real soon, man.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Good night.
Yeah.